Number 3. After the shaking stopped, did you notice any damage to any buildings, streets, etc.? Describe your observations.
Well, right after the shaking stopped, I remember hopping back on my bike and pedaling as fast as my little legs would carry me back to my home. And I pulled up to my house, and the first thing I noticed was my dad, your grandpa, was out on the front lawn. We had grass back then. And he was on his knees saying, why? And he was just weeping in tears, looking at his home. And I noticed we had bricks that were lining the front of the house, and they had all toppled down. There were huge cracks in the front of our home. And there was a lot of kind of confusion, and neighbors were running up and down the streets, and people were turning the gas lines off on houses. And my sister, Katie, was in the shower at the time, and she came out half naked. And there was just a lot of confusion, and my dad was very emotional, and yes, there was a lot of damage.
Number 4. How is your life being affected by the earthquake of 1989?
Well, personally, my family, our house was pretty damaged during the earthquake. We didn't lose our home, but we had to take out a loan from the government to help repair the damage, and we had just moved into that house. I don't know if you know this one, but I grew up in Long Beach in Los Angeles, and we moved into that house about 2 months before the earthquake. And our kind of welcome to the neighborhood was this big earthquake, and we had to borrow thousands of dollars from the government to fix all the damage. And so obviously that's one way our life was affected. But I also remember feeling terrified of earthquakes ever since, and whenever I feel the shaking, I still feel kind of anxious, and I get heavy-chested. I still worry about it.
Number 5. According to the U.S. Geologic Survey, there is 62% chance of another large earthquake occurring in the next 30 years. Do you feel prepared for another large quake? Explain.
I honestly do not feel prepared for another large quake, and it has been fairly quiet since that '89 earthquake. So in my personal opinion, I feel like we're kind of due another one. I think one probably is coming one of these days. And now that I'm a father, I don't feel like I have all my ducks in a row. Like I don't have my kit ready. I want to make sure I have water. I want to know where the gas lines are, and I don't feel like I've done all those things. So from you asking me these questions, it kind of is reminding me that as a dad and the man of the house and as a partner to your mom, that we kind of got to make sure we're prepared. And as of right now, I don't feel like we are.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you. This was wonderful.